Hello, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to MK Convenience Brokerage. My name is Mohammed. In this video, I'm going to talk about part 2 of the Notary Public Examination. I left off at a certain page, and I'm actually going to go over some of the main bullet points that I know is going to be highly testable. So I was going to go over last time at page 5. I went over some of the things. For example, you may not give advice on the law as a notary public. This is a highly tested question. So the question may ask you, as a notary public, are you allowed to refer to another lawyer? Are you allowed to give advice? The answer is no. You're a notary public. You may not basically give advice. You may not draw any kind of legal paper such as will of deeds, bill of sale, mortgage, chattel mortgage, contract, lease, offer to option, incorporation paper. Basically, as a notary public, your job is to notarize documents. You will not make up any documents. You will not do any of those kinds unless you are a lawyer. As a notary public, you don't do that. You cannot give advice. You may not ask for and get legal business to send to a lawyer. For example, if you are working in a notary public, for example, let's say if you're at a business and you notarize people's document, you cannot tell other people like, you know what, I know this lawyer, go to this lawyer, is a good lawyer. You cannot do that. You may not divide or agree to divide fees with the lawyer. You cannot do that. You may not advertise or circulate in any matter as a notary public. Doing so you will be basically going against the law. I went over that before in my last video. Keep that in mind. So for procedures for appointment fees and commission. Now, these are some of the things that I highlighted, and I feel like that might be highly testable questions at the notary public exam. So keep that in mind. I will always look over everything in notary public, but always have the ones that, knowing that these are the test questions, these are highly acceptable, especially with anything that comes with numbers or anything that comes with dates. Usually they put that in the exam, so keep that in mind. Now, for example, like applicants for Notary Public Commission shall submit to the Secretary of State. Guess what? This might be a question. They're going to ask you which commission shall submit to who? Blank. So you should know it's the Secretary of State. The number 2, well, you don't really need to know about much over here. Satisfied, complete, good character. Number 3 is again the Secretary of State shall receive a non-refundable application fee of $60 for applicant for appointment. So basically, keep that in mind. It's $60 for application for appointment. Then if you go back over here, number 4, Notary Public Identification Card indicating the appointment name, address, country, commission shall be transmitted to the appointee. The commission duly dated and a certified copy of the original of the oath of office and the official signature, and $20 appropriate for the application fee shall submit to the Secretary of State to the country clerk which appointee registered by the 10th day of the following month. Again, another date, highlight it, memorize it, it always comes up in the test. Again, the application for reappointment of a Notary Public Commission shall submit to the county clerk with an application the oath of office duly executed before any person authorized to administer an oath together with the signature. Again, question, read this part on your own. I'll help you out. Upon being satisfied with the completion of the application for reappointment, the county clerk shall issue a commission to such person and the official signature of the applicant and the oath of office filed. Such application shall take effect. Again, a fee, the county clerk shall receive a non-refundable applicant fee of $60 from each applicant for reappointment. So basically, you know what? You just saw $60. So basically, $60 for becoming a notary public and reappointment, they're going to charge you $60. Keep that in mind. Number 12, let's go over here. You will also pay for reappointment. Secretary will receive a $10 non-refundable fee for changing the name or address of a notary public. Again, a highly tested question. Every time you change the name, address of a notary public, you're going to pay, again, a $10 non-refundable, which means that you will not get the money back. That's what non-refundable means. Again, the Secretary of State may issue a duplicate identification card to a notary public for one lost, destroyed, or damaged upon, let me highlight this, upon application thereof of a form prescribed by the Secretary of State and upon payment of a non-refundable fee of $10. Again, if you lose it, you destroy it, or you damage it, you're going to pay $10. So keep that in mind. For duplicates, you pay $10. And what else you pay for $10? For reappointments, basically, for if you made a change in address, or you need to pay $10 for that as well. Lost, destroyed, and changing the address is $10. Certificate of official characters of notary public. Let me see again. The Secretary of State and the county clerk and the county in which the commission of a notary public is filled may certify to the official character of such notary public, and any notary public may file his autograph, signature, and certificate of official character in the office of any county clerk of any in the state of any registered office in any county having a register, and thereafter such county clerk may clarify to the official character of such notary public. The Secretary of State shall collect for each certificate and oath of official character issued by him a sum of $10. Again, numbers, memorize it. The county clerk and register for any county which a certificate of official character has been filed shall collect for filing the sum of $10 for each certificate of official character. But any county clerk, the sum of $5 shall be collected by him. Let's see what else question they can ask you. The county clerk of a county in whose office any notary public has qualified or has filed his autograph, signature, and a certificate of his official character shall, when so requested, upon a payment of $3, affix to any certificate proof of acknowledgement, signed by such notary anywhere in the state of New York, a certificate under his hand and seals stating that a commissioner certificate of his official character with his autograph signature has been filled in his office, and that he was at the time of taking such prior acknowledgement of duly authorized to take the sum, that he is well acquainted with the handwriting of such notary public or has compared the signature on the certificate of proof of acknowledgement on with the autograph signature deposited in the office of such notary public. Well, basically what they're saying is, in this whole paragraph, once you pay your, let's say you pass your notary public examination, this is what it means. You will, in that passing slip, you will get something in the mail. You have to get that notarized by official notary public. Usually the school you go to, or if you go to a school obviously for classes for notary public, or if or whatever the case is, or any other notary public you have on the street, you basically have to sign and notarize from them. Once you notarize and sign from them, you send it to the county clerk office with $60 for the application fee. Now after that, in that application you have to make that signature. Basically that signature is what you're going to be using in every notary public from there on. You cannot change your signature. That's your signature seal. That's going to be your signature. So keep that in mind. That's what basically they're saying, the whole paragraph. Now, these are some of the penal law and of some of the things that they can ask you in the notary public examination. So, for example, in Section 140, Executive Law, no person who has been removed from office as a Commissioner of Deeds of the City of New York, as hereinbefore provided, shall thereof be eligible again to be appointed of such Commissioner, nor shall be eligible thereafter to appoint in the office of Notary Public. This is something they can ask you. I mean, they have gone over a lot of different things that you will not think they may be in the test. Small things like that, they can't ask you questions, so keep that in mind. Number 15, any person who has been removed from office as of aforesaid who shall have, after knowledge of such removal, signs or execute any instrument as a Commissioner of Deeds, Notary Public shall be deemed guilty of misdemeanor. Now, I'm going to tell you a small trick. Whenever you see misdemeanor and a felony, you're going to get arrested. Cops will not have discretion. They will arrest you. We're talking about New York State penal law. Anywhere between a misdemeanor and a felony, cops will arrest you. So, if you notarize certain documents which you have been removed from for any purpose, and it could be anything, like you made a mistake, big mistake, it could have to be a huge mistake for them to remove you as a notary public, and you have been removed, and guess what? You're notarizing other people's documents. You can be guilty of misdemeanor. So keep that in mind. Anytime you're out of a notary public, officer or as an agent, you cannot notarize anyone's documents anymore. Keep that in mind. A commissioner of election or inspector of election is eligible for the office of notary public. Guess what? This is a good test question. They could ask you, who is a commissioner of election, or they can make up a question like, which person eligible for the office of notary public gets with commissioner of election or inspector of election, whichever one it is. Let's highlight this just to see. Make it in a bullet point. Now, let's see. Public officer law. No person is eligible for the office of notary public who has been convicted of a violation of the selective draft of the United States. This is a highly testable question. May 18th. Well, this whole thing is basically this. We have the Selective Service system. I'm going to talk about this a little bit, just to clarify for those people that don't understand what this paragraph is talking about, with the public officers law. Now, the Selective Service is basically above 18 years of age till, if I'm correct, 24. all men have to register for them to Selective Service. And basically, if there is a war in the United States, you will get drafted into that Selective Service system. So it's not voluntary, it's mandatory. So you could get Selective Service either applying for a DMV, if you're applying for a voter registration card, if you're applying for financial aid, applying for TAP, applying for certain government agencies, you automatically get registered for Selective Service. So keep that in mind. So basically, you will not be eligible for the Notary Public if you have been convicted of a violation of the Selective Service of that. So let's say if you were convicted and you were charged with violation or violating of that, you cannot be a Notary Public. So keep that in mind. It could be a test question they could ask you, but now you know. County law: each county clerk shall designate from among the members of his or her staff at least one Notary Public to be available to notarize documents for the public in each county clerk's office during normal business hours, free of charge. This was a test question. They did ask you a test question when I took the exam, and they can ask you when you're going to take your exam, because they don't charge you. They have to do it for free. If you go to some county clerk's office, basically that's what they're saying. They have to charge you for free. They cannot ask you for money. So keep that in mind. And they will be exempt from the examination fee and the application fee required by that 131 Executive Law. The same people that have been designated the member of the staff, of whoever they designate, they're exempt from the examination fee, and basically, they do free, and they obviously from there on they do free of charge work. So what better thing they could ask for? They didn't pay for the exam. Miscellaneous. Let's do this one. If a member of the legislature be appointed to any office civil under the government, the state of New York, his or her acceptance thereof shall vacate his or her seat in the legislation, providing, however, that a member of the legislature may be appointed to any office in which he or she shall receive no compensation. A member of the legislature may be appointed for Notary Public in view of transfer of power of such appointment from the government and the Senate to the Secretary of State. Really, this is not really a test question, but always read it and keep it in mind. Let's go over sheriffs. Sheriff shall hold no other office of the Commissioner of the State of New York. Well, no, I don't get what this question meant, but I haven't really seen it. But just keep in mind they hold no other office. Notary Public disqualification. Now, this is something I might ask a question myself. Though a person may be eligible to hold the office of notary, the person may be disqualified to act in certain cases by reason of having an interest in the case. To state the rule broadly, if the notary is a party to or directly implicating interest in the transaction, the person is not capable of acting in the case. Let's highlight this. For example, Notary Public, who is a guarantee or mortgagee and remains a mortgagee, is disqualified to take the acknowledgement of the grantor. Well, I'm going to explain to you this part. Make it easy English. This is penal law English. I'm going to give you simple English. Basically, it's this. As a Notary Public, you cannot notarize your dad's documents, which you have an interest in it. You cannot notarize your grandfather's document, your brother, sister, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is the case. If you have an interest in it, you are guilty. You can be disqualified, which means that notarized document can come back and haunt you. So keep that in mind. Like some Notary Public might say, you know what, don't worry about it, do it. You don't have an interest. I say no. I believe that if you're notarizing somebody's document, especially the people you know, let's say your father, brother, sister, and you notarize a document, and if it comes back, bounces back, and because they either you get in trouble, whatever the case is, I wouldn't do it. Honestly, that's how I personally believe in. Notarized documents for third parties, fine, but don't notarize your family document. Basically, you could get disqualified for it. Basically, that's what they're trying to say. You might have an interest in that part. Maybe you're gonna get some money, your mortgage, or whatever the case is. You're gonna benefit from it. Either ways, it doesn't have to be with money, but they're gonna treat you out. Whatever the case is, you don't want to do that part. So I highly recommend don't. So basically, that's what they're saying over here. You don't want to be a beneficiary, or you don't want to be part of that. You want to be neutral. You don't want to get involved. Send them to a third-party Notary Public. But if you do that, you could get in big trouble. Powers and duty. These are again the penal law section, executive law, property law. Let's just skip that a little bit. Let's see. Let's skip that apart. Power and duty in general, Notary Public, who are attorneys at law, Well, this part is right here. Power and duty in general in notary publics who are attorney at law. Basically, if you're an attorney, they're saying that what your power is. And obviously, if you're an attorney, you can do everything. They go through a tense background, training. They went to school. They did this. They don't even have to take a notary public exam. They're actually exempt. I don't know if I see it over here, but they are exempt. But here I see something that might interest you. For any misconduct by notary public in the performance of any his or her power, such notary public shall be liable to the parties injured for all damage sustained by them. A notary public shall not directly or indirectly demand or receive for the protest for the non-payment of any note, for the non-acceptance or non-payment of any bill or exchange, check or draft, and giving the requisite notice and certificate of such protest, including his notarial seal, if affixed thereof. Any greater fee, reward than 75 cents for each protest and 10 cents for each notice shall exceeding 5, or any bill note shall notary public having a shall seal, except or otherwise provided when requested, affixed to seal such protest free of expense. I'll tell you what that means. This whole part. As a notary public, if you notarize somebody's document, they're not obligated to pay you. You're basically you're working for the state of New York. You're a public servant as a notary public. So if anyone that does not want to pay you, you cannot ask them for money. You cannot ask more than $5 for any notary document, which means that you have to have $5 or less. Which means usually people charge $2, but people don't know the regular laws, rules, and regulation. And obviously it has to be more than 75 cents. But if the person does not want to pay, you can't really do anything about it. It's the penal law. I mean, if they say no, you can't do anything. So keep that in mind. There might be a test question. If the person does not want to pay any amount, it is what it is, honestly. But don't get too angry. Always double check anything that I do teach or I do lecture. If I do make a mistake, always let me know in the comments in the video section so that I correct my mistakes, or somebody else could correct my mistake, just in case if I do get something wrong or I accidentally give the wrong information. Keep that in mind. But as of now, I'm going over my experience, my knowledge and I'm teaching you guys on that. Moving on. Notary public nor commissioner of deeds acting without appointment, fraud in the office. Any person who holds himself out of the public as being entitled to act as a notary public or commissioner of deeds, or who assumes, uses, or advertises the title of a notary public or commissioner of deeds, or equivalent terms and language in such a manner as to convey the impression that he is a notary public or commissioner of deeds without having first appointment as a notary public commissioner of deeds. Well, basically saying that if you're not, like I said before, you're acting like a notary public and you're not. Let's see if this is the same thing. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. Guilty of misdemeanor. They repeated that. Advertising by notary public. Yes, this is something I would go over. The person of this section shall not apply to attorneys at law. Again, you can advertise as much as you want as an attorney, but not as a notary public. Keep that in mind, because again, your power is limited. You're a notary public. You just read this and take a test, and you become a notary public. Lawyers, like I said again, they take extensive schoolwork. They take a bar exam. They go to school for becoming a lawyer. They put a lot of effort in that. So for them, they're different. As a notary public, you're different. So any notary public who advertises his or her service as a notary public in a language other than English shall post with such advertisement and notice in such other languages that follows. I am not an attorney. This is a test question. Licensed to practice law and may not give legal advice about immigration or any other legal service matter except fees or legal advice. Now, what is that reason? Why do you have to say that? Some people might be asking, what is the reason for that part? There's a history behind it. Back in the days, a lot of notary publics used to say, I'm a lawyer. Give me some money and I'll help you out. And they did have some background knowledge and they did help people out. But the problem is they weren't licensed by the state of New York. They were licensed in the notary public. So like we said again, they cannot practice law because they did not go to the extent background training as a regular attorney went through. So they were charging people with money and, charging them $100, $200, $300. They were giving legal advice, immigration services, landlord tenant disputes, whatever the case was. They giving advices. And the state caught on, and they started to make them, they gave them a hefty fine if you get caught, and, they had to revoke your license, and, it became a problematic. So that's why they started to have more and more and more rules This is why we have this now that you're reading, and like, I am not an attorney licensed to practice law, because some people, when they get the license, they think they're not a lawyer, but really you're not a lawyer, you're a notary public. So keep that in mind. So this is a test question, and this is what it has to say on the sign. A notary public shall not use terms in a foreign language in any other advertisement for his or her services at the notary public that means or implies that the notary public is an attorney licensed to practice in the state of New York. What this means is simple. In your sign, other than English, it's supposed to say the same thing as this. If this is in Russian, in Punjabi, in Hebrew, whatever the language is, it should be the same exact thing. You don't want this to be in English and in another language it says, yes, I am an attorney. No, that's a big no. You cannot do that. It has to be the same exact thing, because there's somebody will see, take a picture, put it somewhere, and you could get, in big trouble. You don't want to do that. For the purpose of the section advertisement, again, read this on your own. I don't want to read everything. There's a lot of stuff to read, honestly. But I'm going to go over some of the main points that I think is important. Notary fee, again, for a notary public shall be entitled to the following fees. For administration, oath or affirmation, it's going to be $2. For taking and certifying an acknowledgement or proof of execution of written instrument, $2. By each additional person, $2 for swearing such witness, there to $2. Statement as to authority of notary public and accessing the power. Let me see what is it for over here. Alright, a notary public who is duly licensed as an attorney and consular at laws in the state may, in his discretion, subject to the word attorney and consular at laws for the word notary public. Notary public who's qualified or has found a certificate of official character. Oh, that's not really that important. No, this is. Let's skip this part. Alright, this one. This is hard to understand. Honestly, I'm going to try to go as slow as possible. This part right here. I'm going to finish with this page right here. And page 9. And obviously I'm going to do another part, because it is a lot to grasp. It's a lot of information. So that's why a lot of people think that read it once, you're going to do good. No way. You're not going to do good. You have to understand everything. You can memorize everything. This might look small. Like this might look 15 pages, but a lot of it should have been like 40, 50 pages, because the small stuff makes it feel like it's a lot. It's less, I'm sorry. But if you read it, it's more than, obviously 70 pages. Carefully. A notary public justice of the Supreme Court, a judge, clerk, or deputy clerk, or special deputy clerk or court, an official examiner or title, or the mayor or recorder of a city, justice of the peace, surrogate, special county judge, who is stockholder, director, office of employee of corporation, may take the acknowledgement or proof of any party in a written instrument executed by such corporation, and an administrative oath of any other stockholder, director, officer, employer, or agent of such corporation, and such notary public may protest for non-accepted or non-payment bills of exchange, draft, checks, notes, and other negotiable instrument owned by or held for collection of such corporation. But none of the officers had. Okay, I'll tell you what this means. This whole thing, I'll explain to you. If you work in certain places, for example, if you work in a bank where you might have a financial interest in it, you can't notarize the documents. Be very careful. So if you're a notary public and a stockholder, a director, officer, or employee for corporation, banks, etc., you can notarize certain documents as long as it doesn't pertain to the benefit of that company. Like, I don't know if you guys understand it. Like, you're a notary public. You don't want to have an interest. Think about it. If you're working for Chase Bank, you're notarizing certain documents. You can notarize certain documents as long as it's neutral. If anything that might have an interested thing on certain things, you might get you might, if you're getting interested in it and you might get benefit from it, you can't do it. Think about this way: anything you do, as long as it does not benefit you with any way, then you could do it. And once you see that if it benefits you, but any way at all, even if it means something, you cannot do it. That's how I see it as. So if you're, let's say, you're a stockholder, and you notarize certain stocks that might benefit you, guess what? Do you think you can notarize that stocks? No way, because it's going to be benefiting you. And it's going to be, again, it's going to be a crime. So you don't want to do that. So keep that in mind. Validity of acts of notary public and commission of deeds non-standing with certain defects. Except as provided in subdivision 3 of this section, the official certification and other acts thereafter made or performed of notary public and commission of deeds therefore and hereafter and print to the time of the act appointed or commission of such be deemed invalid. Impaired. Let's go over the choices. This section shall apply to the following defects. Ineligibility for notary public commissioner deeds to be appointed of commissioner as such. Misnomer or misspelling of name of other errors made in appointment of commissions. Omission of the notary public or commissioner deed to follow official oath or otherwise qualify. Expiration of his term. Vacating to his office, change of his residence, or accepting of another public office. This is important. You cannot be a notary public in every state. There's no way. Your notary public in state of New York, in Kings County, or Manhattan, New York, or Queens, whatever you are, you're only there. That's it. You could have a residence and a business. That's different. You could be a notary. You could say if you work in Manhattan and live in Brooklyn, you could have a notary public in Brooklyn and also have a notary public license in Manhattan because you work there. You have to show proof. So keep that in mind. But other than that, you cannot have anywhere else. Let's see. After the expiration of 6 months from the date of the official certificate or other act of commission of deeds, subdivision of this section shall be applicable to defect consistent on omission of the certificate of the commission of deeds, state the date on which the place in which the act was done consistent of an error in such statement. Basically, they're saying that you have a time limit for that. The section does not relieve any notary public commission deeds. Let's just skip this. This is really not that important. It doesn't seem like that important. Yeah, we don't really know the definition, but you can read it just in case. Acknowledgement and proof within the state. The acknowledgement or proof within the state of convenience of real property situated in this state may be made at any time within the state before a justice of Supreme Court, an official examiner of title, an official referee, or a notary public. Within the district wherein such office is authorized to perform official duties before a judge, county clerk, commissioner of deeds outside the city of New York, or a commissioner of deeds, the mayor or recorder of a city, a special surrogate, a special county judge, or the county clerk or any recording officer or county, before the justice of the peace. Yeah, I mean, you should memorize it. It is boring, I understand that. I mean, I know people are falling asleep, but you gotta memorize it if you really want to pass. No. Yeah, not really. Let's see. An announcement must not be taken. This is important, actually. Must not be taken by any officer unless he knows or has satisfied evidence that the person making it is the person described in and who executed such instrument. So keep that in mind. I will go over this in another video. I don't like to put too much information in this. This is important too, actually. Just as long as you hear banking law. This is a test question. They did ask for this. I'm not gonna go over it right now, but I'm gonna go over it in another video. So hopefully, when I go over certain things, I will go over it. Another thing, as long as I'm here scrolling through it, perjury. Yes, this is important too. I'll tell you what that is. Perjury is. Well, as long as I'm here, I'll tell you. Perjury is it is a test question, highly able test question, and I could guarantee every test is gonna have that. If you give a false statement under oath, you're going to get arrested. Because you're going to be, let's say, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you notarized the documents 4 years ago, and you don't remember it, and somehow something happened to that document, now you're in court. They're going to ask you, who was the notary public that notarized that document? And you obviously, if you did it legally, you have records, you're going to go there. You're going to say, yes, Your Honor, on a certain date, such and such time, I did notarize this person did stand before me, I notarized the document, and this is this person's signature, this is the time, this is everything, and this is your document. Now guess what? Now, if you didn't notarize the document and you didn't wrote your information, guess who's going to get in trouble? Yes, you are. You're supposed to notarize everyone's information in your notary public. So keep that in mind. If you don't, you're going to get in big trouble because you're supposed to keep in tracks for everything. I'm gonna go these definitions in general terms. Again, memorize every one of them because I think about 5 questions or 6 questions come from here. Apostille was one of them. I remember this came. Let me see what else came. Let's see what else came. This thing came. I had no clue what this was, but this was in the test question. It asks you what it is, and they give you the definition, and I had no clue. Let's see what else came. Jurat always comes. Yes, this always comes. I don't know why they love this. This always comes to the test. Someone told me before this day of day, and they ask you which one of the following is a jurat, and guess what? This is a jurat. Memorize this, whatever the case is. I'll go over this hopefully in my whenever I make the third video when I get a chance. Let's see. Venue came. Yes, this was also the test. So they could. It doesn't have to be with me. And schedule of fees, they were nice enough to give you a chart. I will memorize this chart in the back of my head. Because they can ask you for a chart. When you're starting at the Notary Public, it's $60, $40 appointment, and $20 filling an oath of office, change of address, duplicate identification card, issue of certificate of official character, filing certificate of official character, protest of note, 75 cents, 10 cents, oath of information, acknowledgement, proof, swearing. So these are something I will memorize them in the back of my head because this will show up. If you don't think it's going to show up, go take the test and find out it will show up or not. Hopefully you pass in the first try. If not, then obviously share in the video and how it was. So I will go over this step by step. I understand I am going a little bit fast, and the reason is simple because I want to go over every little point, every little detail, but then again, I don't feel like every little detail is worth going over. Because certain things I don't feel like it's important that they ask you in the test question, and certain things I know that they will ask you. That's why, I know this will be in the test question, guaranteed. Hopefully it is. Now you get it right. I know certain things they can ask you. I know, guarantee you, they will ask you about 3 to 4 questions or even more on this thing. Schedule of fees. They always like dates and time. I guarantee they will ask you 4 or 5 questions within this definition of authorized definition because you need to know. I guarantee they're going to ask you other whatever question you have to ask you over here. They always ask you about this one at the Notary Public. Are you allowed to give? They will give you a scenario and they ask you that Notary Public gave an advice, and you're obviously going to say that no, they did not work in the course of employment and give an advice. So basically stuff like that. So guys, with that said, guys, thank you again, guys, for watching the video. Thank you for bearing with me. I tried to, I put much effort I can in the Notary Public license information, and hopefully I taught you guys some certain points in this. If you guys have any other questions, comment, concern, please comment, like, subscribe. I'll try my best to help you guys out in the future videos. Or if you guys have any other questions about this, feel free to chat in this section. I will try my best, to answer it, whatever the question you have. And again, if I miss certain points or whatever the case is, guys, please put it in the chat. Help each other out. Obviously, we're all taking the same exact test. Obviously, we're all going to be Notary Public. Any advice or anyone you could give, obviously, always help each other out. That's the thing, you have to do. Thank you again, guys, for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.